a lot of times us women who are independent and hardworking, we show up in work with very masculine energy.
Yep.
And we accidentally then have that pour into our dating life without realizing. And that's why I try to help women with as well. You don't want to have that energy when you're dating, because you will not attract the men that you're most likely are looking for. A lot of us independent women, most likely we're looking for a man who matches our energy. I know for me, I'm looking for a provider and a protector. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care how much money I make. I want him to make more money than me. You want to call me a gold digger? Cool. I love gold. So I'll take it. I'm looking for a provider. So if I'm looking for that type of energy, that means that I have to put myself in my feminine energy when I'm dating. And that's one thing that a lot of us forget to do. We ended up putting masculine energy into dating. So we're like, when are you picking me up? What time? Okay, here's where we should go, blah, blah. Then you're going to attract men who are just not going to put in effort. And then you're going to be very confused because you're attracting men who are more in their feminine energy. The men who don't really care to put in.
Which is fine, but that's not what you want.
As a woman in her 30s, I'm looking for providers. So that's why it's important to then, whatever is happening at work, remove that energy and go back in your feminine energy. What does that mean? Does that mean you have to dress more feminine? No, it's nothing to do with how you look. It's your energy, meaning I'm going to allow this person to come to me. He wants to ask me out. Great. Let me know when you figure out where we're going. And let me know what time, and then I'll be ready. So that person gets to plan the date. That person gets to give you a time. That person gets to pick you up. You allow him to be the man while you can be the woman. It just has to do with the energies, especially when you're now looking for a protector and a provider.
And there's nothing wrong with standing on what it is you want. Like, this is the whole conversation with even like the trad wife conversation and how people get so feral about trad wives. I'm like, who gives a fuck if this woman wants to stay home and raise kids? I don't want to do that. But what does her life have to do with me? There is no standard for what you're supposed to do as a woman. That's what fuck feminism is for. So that if you want to get married, have a child or multiple children and stay home and take care of your husband and be submissive to your husband, I love that for you, girl. Live in that truth. That does not mean that my experience is in any way diminished, because that's not going to make me happy.
That's feminism, actually. Feminism is the right to choose which lifestyle you want to have for yourself.
That's it.
Feminism. It doesn't mean that you have to hate all men and now you have to be your own boss and you should never date men again. That's not feminism. Feminism is the right to choose. My mother, I grew up with my mother being a stay-at-home wife, and we're Russian. They played much the role of my father being, where's the food? I need the food on the table, and so on. And for years when I was younger, because I had daddy issues, I viewed my mom, I thought, oh, she's so weak for being like that. And then when I got older, I realized my mom is the smartest woman I've ever met, because she actually wears the pants in my house. I just never realized it because she's so feminine and she's so good with who she is that she actually controls my dad without my dad even knowing. And my mom one time even taught me, she goes, you always have to make sure you have to get a man to depend on you. So you do something very small and you do it for him every single day. So then one day when you don't do it for him, it's like a dog. He suddenly is like, did I do something wrong? What's happening? My mom every morning would like make some breakfast. And it's like, it seems like a small little thing, but obviously, and then if she goes out of town, even for a day, we all get worried about my dad. Like, is he going to be okay? Like, this man doesn't even know how to make tea. Like, my dad literally cannot breathe without my mom.
Yeah.
He's so dependent on her. And now that I'm older, I've realized how smart she is. Because there's so many ways to be a smart woman without having to be like, I'm wearing the pants, like I'm so strong. And it's one thing that I realized in accounting, because I always felt like I had to be the loudest in the room. Like I wanted to make sure everyone hears me. And one day I realized, and every time I'm in the office in these meetings and I'm trying to be the loudest or whatever, it's like, no matter how loud I am, no matter how much I try to speak over other men, the one thing that I hope that no one's going to notice is that I have a vagina underneath my pants, because I want them to treat me like one of the man.
Right.
And I realize no matter what I do, they know. They know.
Yeah,
they know. They know.
Exactly.
Or they're guessing, but like they have an idea. They know. So then I realized there's other ways I can get what I want by using my feminine energy.
I couldn't agree more. I think that when you're in masculine spaces, you do have to, masculine meaning male-dominated spaces, I should say, you do have to come with a different type of energy. One of my other guests is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, and her and I talked about this a lot, and what you're saying in that you need to step into your feminine energy because you're an alpha when you're in these rooms, when you're around a lot of power, when you're a lot of big stakes. It doesn't necessarily mean that everyone in the room is a man, but everyone is raised to this level of like boss energy. And in order to compete in those environments, or in order to just even survive in those environments, you have to sort of step into this really strong, powerful space. And when you transfer that to relationships and dating, it can be very detrimental, because you're pushing what is like a business transactional mentality and energy on what should be a romantic, connecting, pure, get to know you, a friendship, connectivity that doesn't require that kind of power dynamic.
And I make that mistake sometimes.
But I think I'm similar to you in that I wouldn't necessarily say I'm looking for a provider. Maybe I just don't like the sound of it. Maybe I am. I don't know.
Provider.
I just don't.
You have my number. Call me.
I want a man to be masculine, for sure, but I think it's more of the protector thing. Like, that's what allows me to be soft. I always say, like, I'm a very soft girl. I don't come across that way, obviously, because the world doesn't really allow me that many spaces to be that way. And I also don't want everyone to have access to that part of me, because I think it's very intimate. But I only want to be soft with a man. If you make me feel like I have to be aggressive like that, I will stop liking you, because I already know you're constantly going to bring that energy out of me, and then we're just going to beef. And I am ferocious, so you're gonna lose. And I don't want to even do that with my man. I don't want to have those kind of conversations. I don't want to have that kind of energy. So what she said about herself, because she's also a very powerful woman who feels the exact same way that we are saying, is alpha submissive, which is a term that I really love. And I feel that way. Like, it's not about submitting to a man in the negative, like, pick me, trad way, like all these things that we have created as negative terms for women. I just enjoy being soft and feminine with a man.
A strong man will bring that out of you.
Right.
I dated this one guy that we went on when we were going on a couple of dates. I noticed even on our first date, my mind started to go blank, because he was just guiding me to where we need to go. He was opening the car door, the restaurant door. He was planning everything that I literally stopped thinking. And I always thought it was a joke when I would see those videos where you're like on a date and you're like almost running into the wall of the stairs in an accident. And the guy's like, no, let's go over here. And you're like, there's no way this happens. And literally it happens with my older sister. So if you're a younger sibling, it happens with your older siblings. They tell you what to do and your mind goes blank. And the same thing happens when when you feel safe in an environment with a protector. Your mind kind of goes blank. And it's so nice when you have to think nonstop all day and work and run your business. You go on a date, a cute little date. And the man also feels good, because it's part of his nature. Like, he feels good protecting you. And he gets back that loving feeling, because then you look at him with those, like, goggly eyes, and you're just like, you're the best thing. I'm so obsessed with you. And like, it makes him feel good. Like, that's why I also recommend compliment the guy when he does something good for you. Don't be like, well, you should. That's the bare minimum. How are you winning? Who's winning in that situation? Someone does something nice for you, compliment them, make them show them how nice it feels. Because trust me, the more you show someone, you give them like a dog. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't. Forget the dog for a second with the treats. But the way you treat someone, if you tell them good job, they want to do it again.